This is Journey to Spiritual Greatness. I'm Skip.
And I'm Robin.
And it's time for transformation. That was the breath right there. I'm watching you laugh. That was the breath. I always love it when avatars and spiritual leaders say, take a breath. So Robin, let's take a breath. Which brings so much joy. Hey, Robin.
Hey, Skip.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm not going to front, guys, because we're in the same space we were in the last show, but we just split it in half because we knew it was going to be a two-parter.
Well,
but
we did have a snack.
We did have a snack.
spritzer.
Okay, let's talk about this snack and spritzer. Talk about self-love and bring it, because this is part 2 of self-love, but I got to tell you what girlfriend did. She made this spritzer that is, I call it divine deliciousness.
Oh, wow. That's like the greatest compliment ever.
It's divine and it's delicious. What's in it? Tell me. What is it?
Well, it was inspired by the sparkling water that Skip drinks.
That I drink all the time.
Keep here for him when he comes over.
Right, thank you.
It's like a German sparkling wine, water that you can get at Trader Joe's.
Right.
Gerald Steiner.
Yes.
And it's super carbonated, and
so good.
I can't drink it like Skip does, just on ice.
But that's my soda. I don't drink soda.
Right, I don't drink soda either.
So, but that's like the fizziness I need. That's why I love it.
Yes. So we don't really keep soda here in the house except for parties or special occasions. And so it actually came about because my teenage son wanted a soda, and I'm like, well, we don't have soda. And so I think it's just really carbonation and flavor for people. I mean, maybe sugar too, but so I made a simple syrup with raw sugar, and we have a lemon tree. And I love lemons because, one, they're high vibrational people.
High vibrational.
So I always keep a bowl
Yes.
of fresh lemons,
Yes.
and we use them a lot. And so it's one fresh squeezed lemon.
Okay.
And maybe like a tablespoon. It really depends on your preference. Like I kind of drizzle in the simple syrup and then stir it and see what it feels like or tastes like.
Yeah.
And then I just crushed ice and then fill it with the sparkling water.
And that's it.
It's so simple and so refreshing. And my kids, you just saw my 8-year-old daughter come in between the break, and she's like, "Can you make me a blood orange spritzer?" Right? Like
I'm like, go, because I want one too, girl.
I know. I'm like, I'll be out. So
this is great because in this show, Journey to Spiritual Greatness, you get the spiritual tips and all that, but you also learn how to make a proper spritzer.
okay.
Hello.
Oh, and then the first one you got like party tips.
I know, right? The first one we're doing party tips and, because the truth is everything is spiritual. Everything is a journey. Everything is love. We're talking about self-love. And the last show, I really got the chance to really hear from you, and I got to really kind of define what love is. So it's self-love because, love and loving ourselves. But this one, I'm feeling a need. I'm listening to Mother Guy as she's been speaking to me. Talk about the blocks and how it affects us when we're talking about self-love and how to get through the blocks.
Yes.
How to get through the blocks.
Yes.
My biggest block, I think, about self-love is not awake to who I am, not awake to the connection and who I am. And that has been a major, major block.
Right.
Something that happens a lot. And I have taught incredible yoga classes, and I know they've been really good because it's not because I'm feeling, it's because members are coming up to me, or I'm speaking at our spiritual community, Enlightened Heart. I'm speaking, and I'm in the role, I'm in the flow, and all that, and I come out of this, and I am questioning myself, not really tapping into the greatness of the divine that lives within me, but I'm questioning: did I say the right thing? Did I do the right thing? And that has been the biggest block. And again, we talked about the last show, there is this thing that happened to me, and it just really happened to me. It was just a situation, but that has stopped me from that's been a block. And I love what Sue Mortis says. Sue Mortis says there's just no blocks. There's just your inability to really tap into love, into the source.
Right.
So my inability to tap in could be just that one thing. Or another thing that can happen is you have one great class and and then one person comes up to you and says, well, I didn't really care for that song that you like. And what do we fixate on?
Right. That's your ego.
That one thing, it's the ego.
Yeah.
And ego is a sense of it's the Maya, it's an illusion, it's false.
It likes to keep you separate.
Well, that's what, we learned that's what the ego was created for. It's to protect us. And
Absolutely.
in that place of overly protecting us, it wants to keep us separate, keep us safe, so
Yes.
we're not connecting.
Yes. So you have to let it know I'm not being chased by a lion or attacked.
Right. Which
So you can relax. You can go on vacation, right? So you don't need to keep me separate
Yeah.
from this.
Do you have any blocks to those moments? And here's the thing: I'm saying blocks or inability, because we all have those, because we're human. We're in a human. Actually, we're spiritual, having a human incarnation. So, what are the moments that you might have experienced some blocks in your life?
I would say the biggest thing to connect to self-love and what I have utilized in my life is forgiveness. And
So we're not in a place of forgiveness.
right.
It
It
it's the
impedes
inability.
your ability to see love.
Yeah.
And when we're choosing not, and sometimes it could be the simplest thing. Like some people will hold on to the energy of that person cut me off when I was driving on the 405 at 4:45, and they can't release that, right? And so in the moment, they are not in peace. They are not in a state of love, and they're carrying that energy for all day long, right?
Yeah.
And so just release it, forgive it. Okay, you know what? We don't know what was going on. We maybe they just maybe intentionally did not mean to do that.
Yeah.
So we just need to release that. And then when there's deeper experiences that we have, or relationships that have ended, friendships that have ended, family relationships and so forth, it all comes back to a state of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right?
What is the process of letting go? Because a lot of our I've had spiritual counselors and my teachers and people going, "Oh, you simply just need to let that go." But there is a process of letting it go.
That would be amazing. I mean, and some people are really
Some
good
people
at
are really good.
Yeah.
It done.
Right.
It done. Boo. Bye.
Right.
Boom.
They have trained
there's a
their default
process.
to
Yeah.
letting it go.
Yeah.
And
What are
I
we letting
applaud
go
those
though?
people.
What are we letting go?
Right.
What
we're
are we
letting
letting
go of the energy that we're holding on that
Yummy.
is attached.
I feel that.
Yes. That is attached to what we're upset about.
Yeah.
That's what we're holding on to.
That's what we're holding on to.
And everything's energy. So
Yeah.
when you let that go, then you're releasing the energy that is holding space.
Yeah.
That is blocking the self-love space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're releasing that. And you're not allowing to hold on it. If you hold on it long enough, it creates a barrier then around the heart space.
Have you ever heard this? I've heard another spiritual teacher say this, and I've always connected with this, that unforgiveness is like we're drinking poison, wanting the other person to pass away.
Yes.
Or
I
die.
have heard that. Mm-hmm.
And
Or
that
holding
just
the hot
makes
coal. Who's getting burnt?
Right.
You are, because you're holding on to the anger, right?
the process of actually forgiving. What I've found for my own self is that I must learn to forgive myself. Forgive myself. And forgive others too, and whatever it is. But the main thing is, and I'm learning that I forgive myself for holding on to that energy.
Right.
Because it's no longer serving. Truth be
Right.
told, and I'm finding out my unforgiveness, they don't care.
Right.
The person is like, they're
Right.
gone, and I'm holding on to this energy,
It
that
has
person
to
who cut
start
me
with
off.
you. Yeah, because you're in
Ever-
control of that.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in control of your own forgiveness. You're not in control. And this is the thing that people hold on to, right?
What?
I will never be able to move forward until, they say sorry. I cannot forgive them
Right.
until you say sorry.
Right.
And that it goes back to you're giving your power
Yeah.
of your peace and your love to this person, right?
Yeah.
You're putting it outside yourself. I won't be able to be happy and move forward and do this until you say sorry, and you have to release that. You may
Yeah.
never get that, and you have to be okay with that. But what are you in control of? You're in control of your ability to forgive yourself. That is what you are in control of.
And because of the self-forgiveness frees us up to be. It frees us up to the forgiveness of others and the forgiveness of ourselves frees us up to be in the place of truly experience life.
Right.
When I'm not in forgiveness, man, I'm not seeing life. I'm not seeing the flowers in a different shade of beauty. I'm not seeing. You can't.
You're
Because
blinded.
it's all like, what? You're in the
Yeah.
fog.
Yeah.
The fog of unforgiveness.
Right.
Wow. That's my new book.
I love it.
The fog of unforgiveness.
It's a perfect title.
Is it good? Y'all, don't you take that.
Okay.
I'm copywriting right now.
Okay.
Get your phone out. Copywriting right now.
Done.
The fog of unforgiveness. But that's the truth, yeah?
Yes.
That's the truth.
Absolutely.
And life is beautiful. Life is beautiful when we begin to free ourselves up with forgiveness and unforgiveness. I'm trying not to cry here, but I might go boo boo boo.
It's okay, baby.
I
Boo.
blame-
Let it go.
I blame my dad for 50 years for not being there. And I always question myself and going, how would I have turned out, which could not have been any more glorious and beautiful and divine how I turned out here and now. But I used to question that before I realized that everything else that's on the outside of love, it's really not real. It doesn't matter. It's all, BS. And I realized that I was holding on to this unforgiveness of my father and not being there. So after going through the process, I talked about last show, I went through a process with a shaman and a lot of forgiveness and forgiving myself. But there was a place where I journaled, and it was a journey process, a journey process and a journaling process where I got to talk to my father who's in the spirit world. I got a chance to talk to him.
Right.
Through the journal, and I said to him, I forgive myself for blaming you for not being there. And I heard in my spirit, I heard it loud and clear, my father saying, but I've always been with you, son. I've always been with you. So my father's name, this earthly name, is Charlie Frank. And I just never, I've always carried this hate, this process of what my mother told me about my father. It was always like, your dad was a raging alcoholic, or he's this or he's that. He was mean. He was da-da-da. And that's the image of my father. I've never loved my father. I never knew my father. And so what I know my father is what my mother gave me. So it was a lot of unforgiveness. So in that process, I got to say, I forgive you for blaming you for all these things and you not being there. And him saying in the moment, in the spirit world, saying to me, I've always been with you. I will always be with you. So I had to give him a new name.
Yes.
I took Charlie Frank and I went, yeah, I never really jive with that country Alabama name. Because, Alabama, we got those country names. Charlie Frank, my mother's Rebecca. It's those things, which are beautiful country names. I love my country folks. I love y'all in Alabama. Hey, y'all. Hey, girl. Hey. Anyway, but I just felt this new name of Father Frank.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, exactly. It just,
like that.
it poured out of me. And now, so when I think of my father, which I think about him so much now, and he's with me and I talk to him now and I connect with him on a level that I could never connect to him on this earthly plane.
Yes.
In the spirit world, I call him Father Frank.
I like that. I like that you, and I always suggest this too to people, that when they've had a certain experience at a place or with a person and they've come to a space of forgiveness. So, sometimes you'll have an experience at, a particular place, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm never, ever going there, right?
I'm not going back there again.
They're holding the energy of an experience that they had there.
Right.
And that's over. That's over. Maybe that was with an ex-husband. They had a bad divorce, right? I'm never going there because that's where I went with my ex-husband. So I always suggest, but did you enjoy that place?
Right.
Right? Well, I did, but, I used to go. Well, why don't you just go back there again?
And bless it.
And create a new experience with it. So you essentially did that. And that's the other suggestion that I make with your father. You created by connecting in a different way, and you have a new name for him. That's like creating a new experience. Right? You're no longer attached and choosing not to be attached to the old experience anymore. And that's a choice. Right? It's a choice of forgiveness.
And in that choice, you have now made the choice to really experience life to the fullest.
Yes.
That's a bigger choice.
Right.
Okay. I'm releasing the block of what's stopping me to really feel love.
Yes.
Which is the only real thing.
Right. Absolutely.
And we keep saying that all over again because this is truth. This is a very important process that we get to help to usher.
Yes.
Help to usher in. And it's just, it's almost unexplainable. Like language cannot even talk about when you're talking about the fullness and the essence of love itself and what you experience. The language is very hard to even describe what it is.
I don't even think there are words.
There are words
that you can describe. It's such a depth of feeling, and it's. I don't feel like you can describe it. Even when you try, it still almost doesn't touch the true essence of what love is. Right? It's we can kind of describe it, and but I don't think when you're really in that state of true self-love, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
It's really indescribable. And it's just a feeling. It's such a powerful feeling. And within your heart, which is such a powerful space within you, your heart coherence, that energy that comes out and expands, it can expand out to like 6 feet, if not more, 30 feet from your body. That's pretty powerful. That's much more powerful, right, than anything. And so that energy, just when you are in such a state of love and gratitude, how that extends out and touches everything in the field around you.
Now I know why we pulled that same card today. That heart space, because we were talking about breaking down the barriers of our heart.
That's something I ask for. I ask for in my meditation. In my meditation, I always say, God, please remove all the barriers around my heart so I may feel your divine connection through me and feel it and experience it and then share it out with the world. That's part of my meditation. And so that's why the card that you're referring to, Archangel 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐶, right?
Yes.
And he is a love, right? So if anybody needs help with love, he's a great archangel to call to help with love for ourselves, love to have divine connection.
Yes.
Love, and when we have love for ourselves, that is having a divine connection.
That
right?
is the divine.
And love in relationships, any kind of love, that's your archangel.
It's the archangel there. I love it.
Yes.
I read this book a while ago, and I'm going to go back to it. It's a forgiveness book, and it's by Mary Tumplin, I think it is. And she says that before we love, we must choose to forgive.
Yes.
That is the biggest lesson, life lesson. We can't love until we're willing to forgive.
No, because that's a huge, huge block for people.
Yeah.
And the longer you hold on to unforgiveness, the thicker and the deeper and the bigger that wall is that we create this barrier around our heart.
Right.
And then, if years go by, and we're
50 years. 50 years went by. 50
you got to do a little more work, right, to get through
But it's ongoing, like you said last show.
Absolutely.
It's just going on and on and on and on. It's not
people.
no, child. You don't go, ta-da, I'm there. No, there is no there.
That would be amazing.
There is right where you are.
Yes.
So keep going on.
Keep on going.
Keep on going, boo. Keep on going. I love that. I love that. The funny thing is, I always love your smile. I always love when we get together, we get to laugh.
Yes.
But this laugh is authentic.
Yes.
It's an authentic laugh. You really feel the vibration and frequency and energy of absolute love, and your laughter is different. This process, this meditation, I came out of the meditation just in hysterics and laughing because it was incredible to feel self-love again. It was incredible to feel that, which I haven't felt in 50 years.
Yes.
And it's so funny because everyone goes, well, and I share this with a few people, and they go, but you're a minister, and you've written 3 books, and you've done this. I'm going, but this is the journey.
Yes.
This is the journey.
Yes.
Even that we get to a certain point, we still keep going.
Right. And you're still human, having a human experience.
And that's how we grow.
Yes.
And that's how we grow. Reverend Michael said this, and Reverend Michael Beckwith, I always talk about him because he's my teacher and my friend. And he said to me, he says, even after we transition, there'll be more to learn on the other side.
Absolutely. You never stop.
You never stop learning.
You never stop.
You never stop learning.
It's forever, people.
It's forever. It's forever. What has been your journey? I mean, I see you. You're my divine goddess friend, sister girl. What has been your journey to passing past these blocks? Because it could have been earlier on, and I know I can get through my blocks or my energy, my inability to tap into love. I can get through it easier.
Right.
Early on, it was a whole different thing.
Absolutely.
What was your process? What were some of your learning steps that you learned?
Probably just consistency.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'd say consistency with really, my default is kind of like, is this bringing me peace right now?
Ooh,
Is this bringing me peace?
I love that.
If it's not,
Yeah.
then, our time here is
So
so
precious.
valuable.
Yeah,
and
so
and I know you
precious.
hear that all the time.
But it's
Your
the truth,
time's
y'all.
here.
It's the truth.
But we forget, unless something big
Yeah.
and worldly happens, then it's a reminder. We have a reminder of our time, not knowing when we're going to be called back, right?
Losing Kobe.
Not knowing, yes.
That was like,
But we shouldn't have
really?
to wait until those
Ta-da.
experiences happen.
Yeah.
You need to embrace every day that you're alive, of knowing that, you know what, my time is valuable. And when I used to first kind of bring this up to people, I was thinking, oh gosh, they're probably thinking, oh, who does she think she is, right? And I said, hear me out. This is what I mean. I mean that when you get to a state in your life where you really value your time, your life time here, not knowing how much time you have, right?
yes.
So knowing when you get to a space of value, which is self-love, right? What are you going to spend that time on, right? Am I going to spend precious time on these things that aren't going to matter in an hour? Or am I going to spend time with people that, they're bringing drama into my space, which I don't have that, by the way, because I don't allow it. But, sometimes,
love
somebody tries to bring a little something,
Yeah,
something. I'm like,
right,
like,
stop.
I'm not your person. I'm not your person.
Hold, please.
Yes, yeah. Today or tomorrow or
Right.
ever. So,
Right.
and so I have such, it's been such my default for so many years. And I wasn't always like this either. It took a lot of will and desire to want to have more peace. To want to be at ease in my life. And on the things we talked about, right? I had to learn to forgive. I had to learn, and that was a process of things. And I had to really embrace my time here with my family and my loved ones and the people I encounter, right? I'm like, I don't know how much time I have. So I'm not going to waste it going to places I don't really want to go and doing things I don't really want to do. Sometimes we have to, right? Like going to the post office is not my favorite, but it's part of life, right?
It's a part of life.
But you can make it. It doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world, right? You do it and you move through it, right?
It's understanding that this is not forever. This state of being where we are. Listen, none of us get out of here alive.
No.
And alive in a state of, I believe in life after life.
Yes.
But none of us is going to leave this plane or stay in this plane forever. And I love how you've made it precious.
Yes.
You made it so important. So why sweat? And I get what this means now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
No, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. If somebody told you, and I give this example, if somebody told you, listen, Skip, you have 2 hours left of your life, right? Right? Or even the end of the day.
Right.
You're going to do things so different. You're going to try to cram everything you can in the last few hours that you should have been and could have been doing in your time here, right? And so that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what the next hour holds for us, or 2 hours, or a day, or what have you. And so you have to really embrace your life here, your time here. And then look at the things that, when they come at you, okay, what's more important here? Is my peace more important? And that's, again, what we talked about before, a choice, right? How am I going to choose to respond this, right? And am I going to be frustrated and angry and then carry that all day? And this one person said this. Am I going to carry that and make it mine?
Or am I going to be a tool of bringing people together? And this reminds me, this podcast will go out a little bit later than when we're recording it, but we were recording it right after a big uprising in India.
Yes.
Where the Muslims and the Hindus are fighting against each other. And I saw this, and this was last week, and I watched this, and it's the same time that our dear president is visiting India. I don't know if that's all connected, but it's all connected. Let me just put it that way. I'm not blaming him for it. It's connected. But I looked at that and watching the violence that's happening, and me being a spiritually minded person and a yoga instructor who believes in a lot of the principles of the Hindu faith, and going, this is a place where they've forgotten who they are. They've forgotten self-love. They went back to sleep. So they're leading with their head and leading with this instead of leading with the soul.
Yes.
And they're fighting. They're literally killing each other.
So sad.
And I'm going, that was the whole thing that I said, okay, they've forgotten self-love. They went to sleep.
Yes.
And our work is to wake back up, people.
Right. And
Continue
to
to wake
create,
up.
and I've said this before, to create vision and not division.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that. That's a tweetable moment, y'all.
Okay, tweet it.
Tweet. Say it again so they can tweet that.
So our goal, right,
Yes.
in life should be to create vision. That means togetherness and unity and oneness and not division.
Not division.
Right.
Vision, not division.
Every
I love
one
that.
of your thoughts can create division.
Yeah.
Can put you, I always tell people there's no one above or below you,
No.
right? Energy all around you.
There's only one of us here.
Right.
There's only
But
one.
it only can be above or below you because you place them there.
Ooh,
You know what I
child.
mean?
Preach, sister
You
girl.
did.
Preach.
You placed
Yeah.
that person or that thing above or below you. And so
Right.
when you feel like I feel inferior and I feel this way, it's because you chose to.
This is why, this is a whole nother show, but I'm going to do a little detour. This is why, and I love the idea of the royal life. I love that. I love our Brits over there. I love y'all in the UK. I know some of y'all are listening. I've never gotten the monarchy.
Right.
I've never gotten that whole state of, oh, God said I'm going to be here and you're going to be
Right.
here.
Right.
No, boo. That's not
Right.
God I know.
No.
God's like going,
We're all
hello.
equal. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only one of us.
Yes.
But this has been carrying on for lifetimes
It's just
and
been a
lifetimes.
tradition. That's what it is. It's a tradition. It's something that they've just carried on, and nobody
Questioned it?
changed it or
Changed it or
questioned
questioned it.
And that's why it continues to carry on.
Oh, girl, that's a whole nother show. We can't even go down there now, but we're at the end of this half hour. Oh, this is, again, so good. One thing, we always give that one thing that we love to share. What's the one thing of getting through the blocks? Getting through the blocks or the inability to tap into self-love.
The ability to tap into self-love.
Your inability, and there is that's what it is. So we're going past that now. What would be the one thing that you think that they can do today?
I mean, I'm going to go back to forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
That
Oh,
is such a
yes.
powerful,
Okay.
powerful thing
Yep.
that and such a beautiful gift you can give yourself.
Yes.
Is just to forgive.
I love that. And I'm piggyback on that. I'm going to go to forgiveness, but it's self-forgiveness.
Yes.
And yes, we have other things in our life that we need to, and people we need to forgive, and
Yes.
places and situations, but what you need to forgive is self.
And it has to start there, actually.
It has to
first.
start there. It has to start there.
It has to start with you self-forgiving first.
I forgive myself. I love myself. That has been my
Yes.
mantra coming through this place of going back to a place of truly self-love is I forgive myself. I love myself. And what you're forgiving yourself is that you did not know.
Right.
You're
In
forgiving
that
yourself
moment.
you did not
Yeah.
know, or you're forgiving yourself that you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Or you're forgiving yourself
Or
but
you did the best you could in that
you
moment.
did the best you could in
Yeah.
that moment, but giving yourself that freedom and the it's the invitation and the okayness to be absolutely who you're meant to be.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Wow, it's another one. Okay, here, everyone together. Let's all take a breath. Inhale and exhale. Feel the love, y'all. Feel the love. We love you so much.
Yes.
Hey, make sure that you really subscribe and leave us some notes here and Instagram and all that stuff because we love to hear your process of love,
Yes.
self-love. I love you.
I love you too.
Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Remember to subscribe where you listen to your podcasts.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook.